Good morning, Alfred, and best wishes of the season to your esteemed panelists.
Thank you very much, and we wish you same as well. First of all, there's the statement that you put out earlier in the week in responding to the IMF $214 million loss. I have read it in full. We've subjected it to some discussion. The question that Professor Bobkin and Professor Patrick Esuming asks is how you sell gold across all value chains and still make a loss. They want a clarification, and then also the pricing regime that you use specifically. Mr. Jemfi.
All right, thank you very much. I think this is by far the most fundamental issue that I've heard anybody commenting on this matter raised so far, and so I intend to focus on it and explain. A special greetings to Prof. Bobkin, who taught me financial management during my EPM program at the University of Ghana. But before I do that, I think there are some preliminary issues that we need to clarify. The impression is being created by some, not your panelists per se, but by some, as though the Gold Board has made losses and is shying away from acknowledging that it has made losses. Alfred, the Gold Board is not a typical commercial venture established for the main purpose of making profits. The Gold Board is a strategic corporation with two objects: foreign exchange generation for the country and supporting gold reserve accumulation by the Bank of Ghana. And that is why, if you look at the Gold Board Act, nowhere in the Act is the word profit used, rather the word surplus is used. We are mandate-driven and not necessarily profit-driven. And so if we even make losses in the discharge of our mandate, we'll be very happy to concede that and to show how that loss came about and the benefits of that loss, if any. And so nobody is shying away from losses. Facts are sacrosanct. The Gold Board is barely 8 months old. Per Section 76 of the Gold Board Act, it took over the assets, liabilities, contracts of the defunct Precious Minerals Marketing Company. So for the first year that the Gold Board has been in operation, our financials are available. We have not made losses. We have rather made surpluses. And we have published our financials as required by law, our quarterly financials on our website. And anybody can go and check. So the IMF has not said the Gold Board has made losses. And it is important that we put that matter to rest. The Gold Board has not made losses. And if the Gold Board makes a loss, the Gold Board will not shy away from that. The reason why the lawmaker in drafting the Gold Board Act did not use the word profit and loss is because that is not the main object. You understand? And so why would we even shy away from that if we've made losses? We have made stop losses. And latest by February or March next year, when external auditors audit our books, that will... Alfred, yes. The suggestion is being made that the Bank of Ghana is making losses and the Bank of Ghana is shying away from the losses. The Bank of Ghana says that the statement put out by the IMF that in their country reports that it made $240 million from January to September of this year under the Gold for Reserve program is speculative. It means the Bank of Ghana is shying away from losses. That is not true. Why? Bank of Ghana, why would Bank of Ghana shy? Bank of Ghana has been making consecutive losses. In 2022, it made a loss of 60.8 billion. In 2023, it made a loss of 10.5 billion cedis. In 2024, it made a loss of 9.4 billion. Nobody was crucified in this country. And so if all the IMF is saying is that Bank of Ghana has made a loss of $214 million, equivalent to $2.5 billion, that will even be a reduction of the recurring losses of the Bank of Ghana. Why would the Bank of Ghana run away from that? What the Bank of Ghana is saying is this. I have been in meetings with the Bank of Ghana and the IMF, in which the Bank of Ghana has told the IMF that there are issues of accounting and financial reporting surrounding the Gold for Reserve program, that it has referred to its external auditors for resolution, and that how those cost items are treated in the financials can impact the level of profits or losses. And so the IMF should exercise patience and allow its external auditors resolve the issues. And in that meeting, the IMF agreed. So we are not just saying that, oh, management accounts are not available, and that it is only when external audits are concluded that losses can be ascertained. No. They are critical issues of financial reporting and accounting treatment principles for the financials surrounding the Gold for Reserve program that the Bank of Ghana has discussed with the IMF. Their disagreements and same have been referred to its external auditors. And so all the Bank of Ghana is saying is that let that process conclude so that we can have a fair, balanced picture. The Bank of Ghana is not running away from any $214 million losses, which in any case is far lesser than the recurring losses the Bank of Ghana has been making in the last 3 years. Let's make that preliminary point also very clear.
Okay.
Now, you must understand that the gold board, like I said, is barely 8 months. Has this year now put in place the institutional framework for its operations and order. Okay? So the gold board concept, as envisioned under the Gold Board Act, has not taken off. And I have put that on record already. But because the Gold Board took over the PMMC, the Gold Board inherited the PMMC's existing contract with the Bank of Ghana under the Domestic Gold Purchase Program, which basically is that, and will advance funds to PMMC, now Gold Board, as its agents to buy gold, assay the gold, and export the gold to off-takers of the Bank of Ghana. Now, this program started, as you are aware, in 2022. And when the program was being launched, this domestic gold purchase program was being launched, the object, the policy design was not for profit. And that is what I want my revered lecturer, Professor Bobkin, to understand. He says that why can't we, as a country, be able to sell gold and break even or make profit? No, that was not the policy design. To sell gold and make profit is easy. You just have to know your cost, and you just have to price at a discount that absorbs your cost and gives you a margin as profit. That is easy. Anybody can do that. But in 2022, when this program was being launched, the Bank of Ghana knew at the time that gold was already being bought in the open market by all manner of people, mostly foreigners, at the black market rate, the informal exchange rate, retail rate, if I can put it that way, and at the world market price, within a discount range of 1% to 2%. And you can ask any gold trader. That was how gold was being bought in 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023. And that is how gold has always been bought.
I see.
So when Bank of Ghana was coming in, Bank of Ghana was not like Gold Board. PMMC did not have the market regulation and enforcement powers that the Gold Board has to deal with leakages and smuggling. And so the Bank of Ghana decided to use price to fend off smugglers so that it will get gold for FX, knowing very well that there will be an intrinsic cost or losses. And that is why on 1st December 2022, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, in his directives to gold traders as part of the rollout of the Gold for Oil program, at paragraph 4, announced that the PMMC will be buying gold for the Bank of Ghana at spot price. Spot price. Nobody buys gold at spot price for the purpose of making profit, because when you buy at spot, you can sell at spot. Dory is sold at discount to take account of freight, insurance, handling charges, to take account of commissions of buyers and all that. So you obviously run at a loss. But the policy justification was that we needed the forex so bad to bring about macroeconomic stability, the benefits of which will make that loss infinitesimal. That is the whole point. So it is not about somebody not having the ability to. Why did government scrap? You see, the NPP introduced a withholding tax of 3% on gold purchases in 2023. That was the year that gold output was the lowest in Ghana's history, owing to smuggling. 3%. It later reduced it to 1.5%. When the NDC came, we took the 1.5% tax from the price of Dory. Now, the cost on gold purchases is about 5%. So to say that you want to make profit means you have to buy gold at minimum 5% discount. That is almost double the tax that was introduced in 2023 that ensured that we lost all the gold and all the FX stayed in Dubai and India. And the Ghanaian became the poorer. The economy became the poorer. And so let's understand the policy from this perspective. Now again, to the most fundamental issue of pricing. Gold Board, and for that matter, Bank of Ghana, can be profit conscious and say we want to price to make profit. We are pricing at 5% discount. That will help us to absorb all our costs and make us break even. But we know that once we do that, we will lose all the gold and there will be no forex to stabilize the currency. And when you lose control of your currency, you lose control of inflation, and cost of living will go up the roofs and your people will suffer. And so what do? We say, okay, what we will do is that we will change the exchange rate denominator in the price calculation from the historic retail rate, which has been used all these years, and bring it to interbank. Prof, by doing that, Gold Board has already discounted the local price of gold by more than 10% already. So to slap another discount on the world market price will make our price uncompetitive and only deepen the leakages and defeat the whole essence of the program. That is why we price this way. But we know that even if what the IMF is saying is true, that we've incurred costs, okay, of $214 million, even if that is true. Prof taught me economics. He knows that there is a cost to everything. If Ghana went to the Eurobond market to borrow $10 billion, we will be paying interest of no less than 10%, true or false.
Okay.
That is more than $1 billion. It comes, $214 million comes nowhere close to that. By pricing this way and bringing $10 billion, the CD has appreciated by almost 35%. First time in Ghana's history since 2007. The inflation rate has reduced by 11 consecutive months from 23.8% to 6.3%. Food prices have gone down by 32%. In terms of savings to the country, let me tell you this, because in this country, we know the value of everything but the cost of nothing. Let me tell you the value. And
why you round up for me?
Yes, why I round up. For 2025, the government has spent $1.8 billion in servicing its external debt. Another $1.8 billion in paying IPPs. That is together $3.6 billion.
Okay.
If Government serviced that $3.6 billion debt at an exchange rate of 16 cedis, which we inherited, without the intervention of Gold Board and what we are talking about today, the $10 billion inflows. It would have cost the country 15 billion cedis more. We would have to convert 15 billion cedis more to service that debt.
Okay.
I have not even spoken about the import bill. Let me tell you something. We are talking about January to September. The import bill from January to September 2025 is $11.8 billion. Do the math. If importers imported those goods at 16 cities, as compared to an average exchange rate of 12 cities, we would have lost an extra 52 billion cedis.
There are a number of things that you point to.
$240 million. That is why the Bank of Ghana, that is why the IMF itself is not able to say that the program is bad and that we should stop.
And in fact, the
IMF is saying, Alfred, just 1 second. What the IMF is saying is that it is fine. This is good. You have met your foreign reserve target for 2028. In 2025, it's unimaginable. We never even thought you could do this.
Right.
But we don't want the cost. IMF is saying we don't want the cost to sit in the books of the Bank of Ghana. And we have said that, okay, where should it sit? Whether it sits in the books of Gold Board or the Ministry of Finance, it is sitting in the books of Ghana.
Okay,
so
thank you.
We have now come up with reforms for 2026, because from 2026, Gold Board will now take off fully. And we have told the IMF that when we take off fully, some of these issues that you are concerned is impacting the books of Bank of Ghana will become a thing of the past.
Will be dealt with. So then that answers the question about the way forward.
The price mechanisms that Gold Board will be introducing.
Great.
But let's understand these issues.
Thank you very much, Sammy Jemfi, for this. In fact, I asked those two questions.